I'm Vance Bastion here with my co-host Baz Collins for this week's Written on the Edge, Season 8, Episode 37, last week this morning. It's just Baz and I sharing headlines and culture news that caught our attention during the week of August 20 to 26, plus nominating our wins for last week. Good morning, Baz.
Good morning. Good morning. That's all you get today.
Yeah. All right, jumping into my relatively short news list this week. Marion County Public Schools in Columbia, Mississippi has banned the Heartstopper books from the library's young adult section, objecting the depiction of same-sex relationships and claiming the books are pornographic. I'm sorry, what? I didn't want to have to keep this on me, but apparently I do.
Maybe you should just get a magnet and make it a pen, and you can just
Well,
point and go.
it's actually it's a sticker. It's not even a pin.
Oh,
But
okay.
yes, I'm gonna have to perhaps get it turned into a pin.
So you can just go. And I'm tapping like if he's wearing a pin, people who aren't
Mm,
watching on YouTube. And why aren't you watching it on YouTube? We're up to
right?
300 subscribers now. We need only 200 more and we become monetized. Come on, people, get with it.
More on that in a
Okay,
moment.
back to you.
If you live in North Carolina and don't know who your lieutenant governor is, you need to listen up. Mark Robinson is a self-proclaimed conspiracy theorist who is running for governor under the GOP ticket. His random but dangerous ideologies range from the 1969 moon landing being fake to September 11 terrorist attacks being an inside job. And it doesn't stop there. This week, the reason he's in my list is he's targeted some of black culture's elite, including Beyonce and Jay-Z, calling their music satanic and demonic. Don't, don't,
You got to give them props. At least they're consistent. You
but
know, it's just asinine, but it's at least it's consistent assholery.
I guess. I mean, when people show you who they are.
Yeah, right. I'm talking to you, Russell Brand and
Uh,
Joe Rogan. Anyways, go ahead.
in Douglas County, Colorado, the library has rejected the demands to remove LGBTQ books from the shelves, and a similar victory was seen in New Mexico. So go libraries. You've got my 100% support on this. In news from Baz's state, the California Republican Party has sparked a battle within the national GOP by proposing they remove the national party's opposition to same-sex marriage and abortion. Supporters say
Yeah,
that
that'll fly
removing
like a turd with wings.
y- yeah, but the party is unraveling. And
Yeah.
supporters say
Oh, yeah.
that removing these items will help align the California GOP platform with the values of California voters, which is true. It would also help Republicans in statewide elections. However, opponents say that removing the items would betray the party's conservative values and contradict the anti-abortion and anti-gay stances of the GOP presidential candidates.
Yeah.
Um,
WTF?
in a fun little, it happened this morning, so it doesn't qualify as last week. Keep an eye on the constitutional scholars and what they're saying about
Oh,
presidential eligibility. That's going to be a big thing on my next week's list, but it's a thing to
there's already been
watch.
somebody in Florida that has filed for declaratory relief.
Yep.
So the ball is already rolling.
Yep. In has the GOP's war on woke gone too far? There have been multiple polls at this point on left and right organizations, having shown that American voters on both sides of the aisle are tired of Republican rhetoric around environmental and social causes. Yes, we are, but it's interesting that their supporters are also just tired of the bullshit
The
and
fuck?
keeping, yeah,
Sorry,
right?
that's gonna be my new response to that.
The fuck? Keeping up with the news for the battle on trans rights, a federal judge has temporarily blocked part of Georgia's ban on gender-affirming care for trans youth. U.S. District Judge Sarah Garakti said the provision of Georgia's law that bars licensed medical professionals in the state from providing patients under the age of 18 with cross-sex hormone therapy is likely unconstitutional. Come on, Georgia, wake up. Wake up.
The fuck?
Meanwhile, in Alabama, a federal appeals court reversed the injunction against the state's law banning gender affirming care. If you got all those double negatives, you're a very smart person, by the way.
Mm.
Um, which in effect allows the ban on care to take effect. Gah, Alabama.
The fuck?
And Virginia schools, my final story, Virginia schools have started rejecting their state's policies against transgender and non-binary student choices and lives. So I think the count was up to 4 school districts have said, nope, we're just not going to do it. And at this point, the state government isn't sure they can actually take legal action against the school districts. So that's going to be an interesting story to watch, for sure. My heart goes out to the school districts. You guys are doing the right thing.
Yep. It took
And
them a
that
while,
wraps
but
it.
they finally figured it out.
Yep. So that wraps up my relatively short list this week. What have you got?
Okay, so I'm going to start off first with the honorable mention for win of the week, only because I'm going to fly it up here. But Lincoln Project put out a short video that is absolutely hysterical to watch. And I highly recommend people take it in and share it on their social media. But it's of a bar, and the bar is really fucking crowded. It's not a very COVID friendly kind of situation, if you know what I mean. And this bar is huge and it's filled with people, and there's a big screen above the bar itself. I mean, huge big screen, like 96-inch, ginormous. Anyways, um, and they're showing the arraignment or the booking process, blah 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 blah, and you see everybody milling about, and then their faces all turn as this is going on the screen, and then they post the mugshot, and the entire bar erupts into cheers and claps and people high-fiving. It's the funniest damn thing. I just loved it. So I wanted to mention that people should check it out if they want a little cheerful, feel good moment. That was it. All right, moving on. Barbara Streisand, and I do have to report this, otherwise I get my gay card revoked because, according to my dad, she's the one who turned me gay. She didn't, but still. La Streisand has come out with a tweet about Trump selling his mugshot as merchandise. And of course, the conservative came out after her, saying, "Oh, meanwhile, you're rich and you blah blah blah, and you're still trying to be relevant, blah blah blah." Yeah, whatever. There were a lot of people who agreed with her that it's just ridiculous. This is where we've gotten to in politics. And for those children out there who don't know, Miss Streisand's son is gay, and he and Barbara are very active politically, and so this is why it's kind of a thing, and you should learn about your queer allies and your queer history. So children, listen up. And in that vein, my next one is about John Waters talking about his long-term relationship and friendship with the man that we all know as Divine. And his real name is let's see, Harris Glenn Milstead. And Harris grew up down the block from John Waters. They grew up around the same time. And he says this: I grew up in Lutherville, Maryland, and Divine's family moved up the street from mine, maybe about 6 houses away. They had a child's nursery school, and Divine was their only child, which I always thought was questionable advertising. And as he was in high school, he got beat up a lot. He got hassled. He was an overweight, kind of feminine nerd. And the rage he built up from being abused so much by the students and the teachers led to Divine, a character that he was not like at all. But then I created and wrote these lines for him and made up this image that made him scare hippies, actually. And Divine wasn't trans. He didn't want to be a woman. He wanted to be Godzilla and Elizabeth Taylor put together. Nailed it. He never walked around in drag or anything. He never did that. He wasn't trans. I mean, he'd be for that movement, but he wore expensive men's suits and all, and that's what he was striving for. I've always said that RuPaul, who has been around as long as we have, and I really salute him for making drag totally acceptable by the middle class. But one of the reasons for RuPaul's success that nobody never ever mentions is that he also had a great look out of drag, and most drag queens do not concentrate on that because a lot of drag queens don't even want to be photographed out of drag. So that was him speaking to the Hollywood Reporter about his unique friendship with Harris Glenn Milstead, aka Divine. So just wanted to share that for all the children out there, that you should know your queer history and the voices that are supporting it. And in that vein, I have another story. Uh, uh, On this exact date, 60 years ago, an estimated 250,000 people gathered for the March on Washington, a peaceful protest advocating for the civil rights of African Americans, a day that forever changed the course of our country's history. Though the march is remembered as an important chapter in the work of the late, great Martin Luther King Jr., culminating in his triumphant and unforgettable I Have a Dream speech, many may not realize that a large part of success was due to an openly gay man, activist and social organizer Bayard Rustin. There is a film out now that is being produced by the Obamas, and it has um, Coleman Domingo. So it says taking on the eponymous role is fantastic gay actor and recent QWERTY Pride 50 honoree Coleman Domingo, and finally getting his star turn he has so long deserved. Naturally, Domingo's the film's center of gravity and its spark, and we don't want to jinx it, but the part's already garnering him some early Oscar buzz. So fingers crossed. Sad thing is, I think doesn't the Academy generally look towards the very end, the holiday period, like October through. I just don't know if he's in that block where they generally pull most of the nominees, Anyways,
Right.
the first trailer is out, and Rustin's queerness is not just a footnote in this story, but an essential component of his personhood that helped define his push for equality, especially as he had to defy those who wanted to count him out. On the day that I was born black, I was also born a homosexual, the activist declares. Rustin reunites Domingo with his Ma Rainey Black Bottom director, George C. Wolfe, as well as his co-star, Glenn Thurman. There is also who's also playing the activist March on Washington cohort, A. Philip Randolph. Chris Rock is in it. Sensate's Emil Amin, the Emmy-nominated CCH Pounder, who I love, is the activist Anna Arnold Hedgeman. Batman's Jeffrey Wright is the former New York Congressman Adam Clayton Powell Jr., and Broadway legend Audra McDonald as the civil rights leader Ella Baker. This sounds phenomenal. I can't wait to see it. So we will definitely be reviewing it and reacting to it when it comes out. So there's that. And finally, Dylan Mulvaney. Trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney has shared a hopeful message after taking home the trophy for Breakout Creator in the 2023 Streamy Awards. It's been nothing short of a momentous year for Dylan Mulvaney, who has attended the White House to discuss trans rights, undergone facial feminization surgery, and even been forced to flee America after enduring vicious right-wing backlash for partnering with beer company Bud Light. Now the TikTok star is the spotlight once more after taking home the award for Breakout Creator. Facing tough competition from the likes of Alex Earl, Drew Afualo, Jake Shane, and Keith Lee, Mulvaney was recognized in the category for her commitment to challenging transphobia while sharing her authentic experience. In a backstage interview with People after the ceremony, which honors the best content in creation on social media, Mulvaney explained why it was such a significant win for trans people everywhere. This is her quote. That was the best moment of my year so far, she began. I feel so happy. First of all, I feel like I have to give a shout out to the other iconic nominees because I really did not think I had a shot at this. Drew is my favorite creator. I think it just means a lot to me, but I also think the fact that a trans person can win an award like this in such a scary time of transphobia, it makes me feel like there is hope. And I've learned that I'm capable of more than I could have ever expected, and that's worth holding on for. In the moments of dark afterwards, there comes a light, and I think I'm starting to feel that light again. To anyone out there who doesn't feel like they can be themselves, just know that I love you, and hopefully one day you will feel safe and loved enough to be your authentic self. But please hold on to hope in the meantime. I love you. And I just love that story. So that's who I got for my news. Who in your week?
A queer Muslim couple. Their
Oh,
wedding photos went viral. Umaira and Samira were married in Brixton, South London, a fortnight ago, so 20 days ago. But the beautiful photo of them keeps getting likes and reshares and loves. It is a gorgeous photo. The link will be with the show notes. Um, it's just an amazing thing to see that, in this time of hate, so much love can be celebrated.
mm, absolutely. Well, our win of the week for Vans and I'm actually going for once, toot our little horn. Our reactions are blowing up on YouTube, which is wonderful. We've gained 160 new subscribers in the last 28 days. We are now up to 300. We're only 200 shy of the 500 mark where we become monetized. Our watch time hours are averaging around 3,000. So it's really nice to see that we're finally starting to see some life happening over on YouTube. I have many more reactions coming out. I'm also decided I'm going to do, and this is a merch shout out. Basically, we won the week at Rote, and we're taking the win because after 8 years of Vance and I plugging along weekly on this, through thick and thin, through health scares and everything else on the planet, we really feel like we need to pat ourselves on the back. But this is something we've really worked for. We really firmly believe, and we're both passionate about providing a platform for queer content creators. So if you are a queer content creator and you want to come talk about what you do, definitely sign up for the show. It's over at ropepodcast.com/booking. Just pick your date and tell us what you're on about, and we will work out an episode that's solely around you and what you do. But I'm saying that we won the week because we are really starting to show some growth on the YouTube channel. And if you're listening to this audio, we love that you're still listening to the podcast on the audio. But it would be a lovely thing if you could just move on over to YouTube, find our channel, Rote Podcast. And it's at Rote Podcast, all one word, and just give us a subscription and a like and a comment, and that would be just wonderful. It would help us out and get us over the hump, so we don't have to keep paying for this out of our pocket. We can actually have Rote kind of support itself. We're not asking for the world, just enough to keep it running. So there you go. And there will be new merch going up. I have decided I'm going to do queer quotables, so queer characters in movies. I'm going to start doing little shirts with those characters that we love so much in all of these movies, and with a notable quote from the series or movie or TV show, just so we have some wonderful writings and scrivenings from the writers on each of these queer quotable characters and actors. So there you go.
Awesome. All right, folks, written on the edges.
Wait. I have one more thing. There is a video, and I'll link it down in the notes. But there is a video of Mario Lopez, who is the director of Red, White, and Royal Blue, of him telling a fabulous, funny story about actor Taylor Zakar Perez, where just before they were going to shoot the big scene with Zara and Prince Henry, where she discovers the boys have had a night fling, that just as they were going to the set and we were getting ready to film the sequence, he had to be rushed over to Taylor's trailer because Taylor was concerned that his ass might be too hairy. They needed to know whether to shave or not shave. And he said after they went through it, they decided, no, just do it. Just do the scene as you are. They decided to go. He went back onto the set. He turned to his assistant and said, "You'll never guess how my morning started." So I just wanted to share that little tidbit. I'll put the link to the video. It's on Sirius XM, and it's a funny little thing, and it's lovely to see a queer director and him telling his story of how he made the film. So it's just a lovely thing. And since we've done a review, I just wanted to include it before we signed off. Over to you, sir.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Written on the Edges, produced by Rogue Ravens Media. For our disclaimers, links to social media, our listen stations, or to sign up as a guest, like Baz mentioned, hit www.rotepodcast.com. If you enjoy learning about new artists, hearing our thoughts on entertainment media, and or the news that has tickled us, please like and subscribe so you get the alerts for new episodes. Like the man said, follow us on YouTube. Please just give us a subscription. We love you. Tune in soon for your queer media fix.
Bye-bye.
What's that? Closing time. The bums rush in melody, dear.